Welcome, everyone. I am building a community of purpose. So this is really for people who care deeply about early years, care deeply about child development, know the challenges that are happening, and want to make, significant changes for resolving those challenges, but also just know how important early years are for building a foundation for life. So I wanted to share my story and how I got involved with this. So with various family things, going on, I noticed children who have needs, or that are struggling with technology or anxiety, or just maybe slower in learning speech and communication, whatever the issue is. I noticed that there's this issue with going around in circles with specialists, going around in circles and circles and never really getting to the root of the problem. And so I spent a lot of time at Harvard Center for the Developing Child, which is one of the best centers for child development. Highly recommend their research. And they were evaluating. They were evaluating early years care. They were evaluating, the different types of interventions. And they said even in most of early years interventions and early years care, we're really missing the mark, and it's very frustrating. And it is very frustrating. And I don't think anybody means it, right? I don't think we're here to I think everyone's doing the best they know how. But what became very apparent to me is we need to change the know-how. So I got involved with a number of different specialists, the specialists at Harvard for one of them, Sally Goddard and her institute, were another group, and the Sonatel Institute, and just, Jim Baree, and who are all of these people that are really working in early years, and who really, Dr. George Halverson, who really understands this stuff on a deep level. And then I started trialing these in schools, live, trialing the different techniques, methods live to see what it can do. And what I found is when it really streamlined development that's age specific, that understands what should be happening in that child's development and works to train, simulate that, are extremely effective. Or, the ones that really understand the anatomy of the brain and how it works. I did this at a school in Malaysia, in a very underprivileged, background. So in that kind of background, because it's an underprivileged area, there's all kinds of things going on, right? They can't even pay attention for very long, or they cry and get upset really easily. It's got all kinds of issues going on. And we did the program as a summer school. And literally in the course of just 2 months that was the summer school, instead of being, all over the place and not communicating, not digesting information, homework's not done, they came back and they were calm. By the end of the program, they were calm. They were communicating very well. They were collaborating amongst themselves. The work was always done. It was just completely different. And I had this one little girl come up to me and say, "Miss Julene, if we do this program, we can learn everything in 2 months and just have fun the rest of the year." And it just blew my mind. Like, when I saw the level of change, it blew my mind. And that is why I'm so passionate about understanding how to work with the brain, how to work with child development. When kids aren't listening or paying attention, it's not because they're bad, it's because they need things worked on so that they have the capacity to do that. When they're fidgety and can't sit still, a lot of times it's because they need more movement, right? So really understanding the science and using it in a really targeted, way can have exceptional outcomes. And I want you to know this because I want you to know that it's real. And I'm going to be giving away the program for free because it's real. And even if you were to buy it, I would say if it doesn't work, we'll give you a full refund, because we know that this works. And if it doesn't work, I'll give you a full refund. I'm just really passionate about getting this science out there and getting this program out there, because I know the difference it can make, and what a difference that will make to the parents and families that you serve and who you become, as a provider when you're providing things that are making differences that, like, we have neuro assessments and things, but the parent doesn't need to see an assessment to see, oh, something different's going on in my child. They're different now. So I'm really looking forward to sharing this with you. I partnered with UK Research and Innovation to turn what was happening in the live programs into a digital format. And this is, for me, a movement because I want to work with people and organizations who really care about this, that nobody's intending to miss the mark. We have challenges with resources, with, very, time constraints, many things, but this is not a time-intensive program. It's 15 minutes a day, 3 days a week. I'll tell you all about it in the webinar, but I want you to know why I'm here, because I want you to be here with a shared purpose, with the fact that you really care about early years. You know that it's setting the foundations for life. You are watching and experiencing what these issues are with children, trying to do something about it, maybe exploring different types of resources and tools. Mine isn't the only one, and that's why it's also designed to work in collaboration with other tools and resources. But in the area of music and movement, we've really targeted how to use that in the most effective way. And I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you because I think sometimes we normalize struggles or we get used to the challenges, and we don't realize that there's a level of transformation that can take place if we really hit the right nails on the head. And so I'm really excited about sharing this with you. It was a transformation in my personal journey, even when I was working, as a teacher, and the struggles that I have, even just calming kids down or getting them to do something, that you'll save time by doing this because they're more responsive. There's less, you have to spend less time asking them to do something. You don't have to ask as many times to get them to do something. I want us to know that level of change is possible and that we can make that level of impact. I want to introduce you to the specialists. I want to show you the program. But most of all, I want us to stand together as a movement because this is not just my product. This is designed to work collaboratively with your school, with your practice, with your organization. So I am looking for people who care enough to be part of that kind of community and mission. And if you are interested in how music and movement can play a role in that level of impact, I definitely would recommend that you come, and I would love to see you there, and I would love to share with you.